why, but it is what it is. We may not get that many people on this short period of time, but it'll be on YouTube for replay. So it'll get more listeners at that time. We are actually live. Wow, this is my first episode, y'all, doing Life is About More Than Living in the afternoon, new time spot here. My guest today is Randy Taylor. We're going to dive briefly into this topic, an alternative to therapeutic therapy. Because time restraints, we're going to hit it really hard, let him give a brief bio about himself, and we'll bring him back and label the next episode part 2, an alternative to therapeutic therapy. And we'll go a little bit longer, my listeners, my subscribers, my followers. I really need this today for myself. It's been a chaotic day. So, Randy, just shoot up. Tell them who you are and why you. First of all, let me share the quote by American Psychologist. I believe that a different therapy must be constructed for each patient because each has a unique story. Dr. Irvin Yalom. That's why I want to bring you on the show. All therapies don't fit for everybody. So in the limited amount of time, I'm going to let you dive into what you got to say. I'm going to get you booked as soon as possible, so especially since I'm going to my therapist this Friday. And we'll go a little bit longer, perhaps later in the day. All right, Randy, your time, man, to speak.
All right, great to be here, Alfred. I greatly appreciate the opportunity and the greatest hope in being able to do shows like this. I was on a national radio show this morning, is to give people hope, right? To let them know that, as you said, not all therapies are for all people. And the reason that this new form of therapy was created was that there were a lot of people that I was meeting through my work in another organization, a company that I founded 23 years ago called Tailor-Made Leadership, that I was finding that they were struggling with anxiety and stress and fear and post-traumatic stress disorder and all the rest of it. And clinical therapy wasn't working for them. So it was the investigation of that and then starting to work with some of these people that really shone a light on this process that is so effective with people. So my background, I've studied the science of human behavior for 35 years, owned this organization, Tailor-Made Leadership. The new organization is called There-Apy. The website is freefromtherapy.com. I grew up as a child homeless and alone on the streets at age 14, parent alcoholism, and the rest of it. So, I come at this understanding what, struggle and challenge is like. And I also know, how possible it is to get past this. So off the top, what I want people to know is that you're not stuck. Okay. When we talk about issues of mental illness and mental health and all the rest of it, it kind of, when we do that, if somebody said to me, you have multiple anxiety disorder, then how do I feel, Alfred? I feel like there's something wrong with me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like I'm broken. But the reality is that all these names and labels that we give to people who are having emotional trauma, it's not an illness. It's not a disease. There's no injury. There's no pathogen. There's no virus, right? They're basically stuck processing and programming information from past experiences that keep them mired in that situation that causes the anxiety, that causes the fear, and causes the loss of so much life. So in very short order, what happens when you and I take in information? It's stored in a file, right? In the subconscious mind. I wear this file folder out in talking to people all the time. So you have a file in your brain that says, here's how Alfred makes coffee, and here's how you drive a car, and here's how you start your podcast, right? All of these things. And so for knowledge and training and skill development, it's amazing. But for the recall of information stored in the files from past struggles and traumas and failures, it's not. So that's what ends up happening. It's interesting to know from a scientific perspective that every time we have a thought, every time we take action, we go inside the brain, open the file from past experience and say, what do we know about this? And that allows us to, to do things like if I, reach for this glass and I want to drink some water. As I'm reaching for the glass, I have to open the file in my brain. I don't realize I'm doing it, but I'm doing it. And the brain says, hold it down at the bottom because it's heavy. Put 4 fingers on one side, your thumb on the other side, balance it. Careful when you tip it up, right? So all of that information is in a file. So again, that's an amazing process. But if the file says, here's this traumatic childhood, right? And all the suicide threats you were around listening to as a child, and the alcoholism and violence, and then being homeless, and right, all that information's in the file. If I continue to think about and talk about what's in the file, then the file gets bigger, right? And the larger the file gets, the more I am triggered by things that are around me, right? I see a liquor store and I think about my mom. I see an ambulance go by and I think about violence, right? So we're triggered by this stuff all the time. So how this, new approach to therapy came to be is the people that I was working with, and they were going to therapists and they weren't getting results. And we started having conversations about what went on in their therapy sessions. And I was working with them on, the behavioral science that I understand. And over again, the people started telling me, well, the therapist kept talking about what's in the file, right? Let's talk about your failed marriage. Let's talk about your childhood. Let's talk about the loss of that loved one, the tragedy, right? Over and over and over again. And then
Can I just pause you for a moment? And our time is limited.
yeah.
I have been with my therapist now for 4 years, and the last several months without her due to job change and insurance change. So I'm back to this coming Friday.
Yeah.
But for the better part, the first 2 years, she did exactly what you're talking about. Now, when we meet, we talk about where I'm at now and how do I move forward to a new space. And she challenges me when I want to go back, open that file back up, not to dwell in that file.
Yeah.
That's why I want to bring you on the show, because I'm experienced some of what you're saying. I have a person who challenges me not to keep redredging that
Fabulous.
file
Yeah.
unless I have to do it for a talking point or for a show or for a guest, something like that,
Yeah.
but not live in it, basically. Because if I hear you correctly, so many of us are living in that file every
100%.
single day.
And it's, and so, I mean, over a lifetime, we keep seeing the movies in our minds. We keep hearing the voices. We keep feeling the emotions. We keep creating the chemical compounds or neuropeptides created from the emotions, created from the event, right? And it makes the file larger and larger, which makes it harder and harder to overcome. So also a lot of therapists and the clients that I was working with, they were giving them strategies and coping mechanisms to deal with this, right? But it's like saying to the subconscious mind, I'm broke, and I keep saying, I want to get out of debt. All the brain hears is debt, right? So if we have a coping mechanism to get over that childhood trauma, every time I come up with a coping, I'm connecting it to the childhood trauma. So this new approach that I have developed, and this will be really interesting, Alfred, because you have some great personal experience in this, is that I realized from all the study of the science, I can't think this file away, right? In fact, when I think about it, I make it bigger, right? The 70% of people in the world who are terrified of air travel, when it is the safest form of travel in the world, they've created a file in their mind with a lie in it that says the plane's going to crash. No, maybe the car on the way home will, but the plane's not going to crash, right? So we believe that. So the only way to get over this file and get on with your life is not to find a way to talk about this and ignore it. The only way is to create a new one. If you don't create a new file, you won't get over the old one. And the results in this have been remarkable. I mean, just, people in a few months, one guy who had post-traumatic stress disorder for 20 years, was in therapy for 20 years, abused as a child, went into the services. All his buddies got blown up in front of him in Afghanistan. And he sent me a video. If we had time, I would show you down in
we can do the next show. We can bring it up the next show.
Yeah. So 2 weeks ago, he's gotten his life together so much. He was on the couch living like a hoarder in northern Winnipeg in Canada. And 2 weeks ago, he sent me a video of his brand new place he's living at in Panama, overlooking the beach.
Wow.
And it's just, I saw that, I almost cried, because I remember the first time we talked, and he was so broken, right? Because he kept doing this. He kept thinking about and talking about that file, and you just can't get past it. So that's the difference. I wanted to ask you, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, based on what little bit of research I've done on getting ready for this show and work you've done so far, I believe what you developed is in line with what some others have developed. And I believe it's practical. It's a form of holistic healing, I think.
Yeah.
Thankfully, again, I have a therapist who probably the reason I've been the monster I have been in so many aspects. And my in and out, ups and downs, crazy, different things, challenges, I would say, over the last few months, because I have not been with her and having those sessions. But you asked me, what do I think? I think having someone who is willing to take that file up, as you said, perhaps address the file, but not encourage people to keep readdressing over and over again, like my therapist doesn't do. Sometimes she has to stop me from readdressing it, because you cannot really. I can't say, I keep saying second person. I've came as far as I've came by knowing when to pick it up and better when to put it down. I'm doing very poorly lately. I'm very transparent on my shows of putting it back down. So the ability to put it up, pick it up, put it back down, and to create a new file. This is not just a podcast I do. This podcast is my lifeline in so many ways. And what you're doing, I think, will help me a lot.
Alfred, can I share one thing with you?
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, and we're not going to get into this. This is your personal life and the rest of it. But
well, I don't mind sharing a lot of it. We have more time. I always do. I keep it real transparent.
Let me just say this, and we will get into it the next time. But the things that are causing your, anxiety and, emotional issues and things like that now, how long ago was the event or those events?
Well, in my case, a lot of it is going back to what you said in the beginning. I unintentionally find myself reliving stuff I shouldn't be reliving, because that file is getting, I think the word is comfortable. I think some of us get comfortable picking the file up. Does that make sense? It's easy to pick the file up. It's easy for me to pick the file up than to put it back down. I say this because when I look at what you were saying, what you said, I'm not disavowing. You asked me a question. I'm not dodging it. How long ago was it? It could be the next hour I pick up something. It could be something triggered the next moment.
But not the picking up, but I mean the actual event that started this.
Oh, these events, some of these events go back to my childhood.
Okay, okay, that's good. Let's just deal with that. So your childhood. I want you to close your eyes just for 10 seconds, and I want everyone who's watching this right now to do the same thing. So close your eyes, and I want to talk you through something. I want you to spend 10 seconds, and the people that are watching, pick an event in your past that you struggle with still today. I want you to think about that event. I want you to see yourself there. I want you to see your surroundings. I want you to feel what you were feeling and the emotions that were washing over you that day. Sit with that for 5 more seconds. All right, folks watching, and Alfred, open your eye. Here's the question. Where did it go?
It's gone.
Alfred, the things that are haunting millions of people. There's 65 million people in North America and therapy, only the ones who can afford it. For 65 million people, we are having our future taken away by a hologram of a memory of an experience that's gone. It's not here. And I want you to start using that going forward for yourself and people that are watching. Understand that event can't touch you. My growing up in violence and being homeless at 14, it's gone, right?
Mm-hmm.
It can't touch me. And what I have is here. And for so many people, that really is a beginning point of understanding that they can heal, of understanding that event is gone, and getting an appreciation for the fact that it's pretty much a ghost from the past. It can't touch you now, and it does not deserve 1 minute of your future.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
There's a lot of power in that. I've listened to another podcast that mentioned that point in a different light,
yeah,
and I had to actually replay that podcast again and again a couple of times because that is freeing. What you just said, it don't have that power. Um, that, Actually, the podcast mentioned pausing for like 30 seconds and
yeah,
opening your eyes up and like it's gone. Um,
because it's shocking when you
we
have
need
your
our
eyes.
we need our full 45 minutes to an hour. And then you said 5:30, you gotta go.
Yeah,
There are some time slots on my calendar. Uh,
yeah. I'll pick another one, and I apologize. I have to go for this.
no
This.
problem. If a later in the day works for you, that's great because I'm open to like 7:30 o'clock
Yeah,
my
I'm
time.
booked, and then I've got an outing with my family. But I'll.
Okay. Saturday afternoon is open as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
I want to bring you back and label this part two. I'm not going to recreate none of the text for this other than label it part two. And by then, I'm gonna advertise it more to my Facebook audience
Okay.
because right now I'm a Black men's mental health group, and we support each other through that means.
Well, you know what,
Randy,
Al?
I was great. I was great to have you on. I'll let you go. This is another episode of Life is About More Than Living. Randy Taylor. We're gonna dive deeply into this next time.
Alfred, I just
Yes,
want to
sir.
say to you, God love you, brother, for what you're doing something. You're helping so many people. It's so important to make people understand they're not stuck, right?
And one crazy thing about all this, and I'm gonna throw it out there. I'm gonna say crazy, like crazy, crazy. As I was doing a promo video for the the site we connected through.
Yeah.
My very first episode was helped me to begin releasing. And that was 8 years ago. And now, 8 years later, as of September, here we are. And people like you are making this show so much more impactful.
Well,
And I would love to have you back as a regular. I've got two other gentlemen to come on. I would love to put you in a rotation so you can do what you do and we can make
love
a
that.
difference.
Be amazing.
Right now, go ahead, go do what you got to do. This has been another episode of Life is About More Than Living. Very brief episode. Brandon Taylor. Wow. An alternative to therapeutic therapy. Catch part two, y'all. Catch part two. My listeners, my followers, my subscribers. Randy, it's nice meeting you.
Thank
Glad
you,
to
man.
have you on board.
All
I'm
right.
hitting the end live stream and it'll start the countdown. Go on the calendar. I'm traveling in October and probably some in September. But find the date towards the end of October, early November, and we'll get you back on.
Awesome. We'll do that.
Appreciate you.
All right, man.
What
Have
you
a
doing,
good
my
night.
friend? Have a
Thank
good
you.
day. Bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye.